Today we're about to go to Keystone. Gonna go night skiing. We're gonna shoot some content before we go out there. I'm loading up all my gear right now. Got my pants, jacket, and my board over here. So we're gonna load up, get the truck ready to go. Over the last year, I shot with 12 amazing guests, had some really enlightening conversation from everything about fitness to business to life, dating, entrepreneurship. And over the last year of shooting this series, this season 1, I was on the road for 4 months, 17 weeks total, traveled the entire country and into Canada. And I learned a lot, not only from my guests.
I think your 20s are this exploratory phase.
Can't rely on that and wait around for it to happen.
First time in human history that we get to choose the stress we'd like to adapt to.
But I learned a lot about myself. Welcome back to the Tailgate Coffee Table. Today I'm here, I'm sitting above Dillon, Colorado. Lake Dillon is right over there. And I'm just here by myself. This is the final episode of the season, episode number 13. I feel like I discovered this kind of style of living where I don't know what's going to really happen day to day. I'm living out of my truck, right? And I don't really know what's coming next. It's kind of an uncertainty. But as I'm traveling, I'm able to keep myself grounded through controlling what I can. And so I'm calling this lifestyle that I've been living, I'm giving it a term and calling it controlled uncertainty. Controlled uncertainty is saying yes to whatever comes your way, not knowing what the next adventure is going to be, but at the end of every day, having those core tenets that keep you grounded to who you are. For me, that's doing some sort of fitness activity, whether it's going for a walk, whether it's finding a gym to work out at, playing pickleball, it doesn't matter. Doing something fitness related every single day keeps me grounded in who I am. Also, journaling and meditating every single day keeps me grounded in who I am. So I can maintain those few things that keep me level-headed, grounded in who I am, while allowing every single new opportunity and adventure to come across my plate and say yes. And through that, I had some seriously awesome experiences over the course of shooting this show. A couple come to mind. When I was in Ohio, I went to a music festival called Lost Lands. If you didn't know that about me, I'm a huge dubstep, bass. I love all genres of EDM, but dubstep and bass music as a whole has a special place in my heart. So anyways, went to Lost Lands. So as I'm getting ready to leave Ohio, where they hold Lost Lands, I noticed that I'm going to go over to New Jersey and then I'm going to go down to Florida. And I have a good friend that lives in North Carolina who I haven't seen for a long time. So I decided that I would text him and see what he's up to if he had the time. And he's like, hey dude, so yeah, we have time, but we have a music festival this weekend. And I'm like, dude, I just spent 3 days in the woods in Ohio going super hard, but I'm gonna just say yes to this. And so I get over there, I get down to North Carolina, and I go to this music festival and I see this friend that I haven't seen for years, and it's such an amazing experience because I decided to say yes. There's like that uncertainty, right? But while we're there, I was still able to work out. I was still able to eat the things that make my body feel good. And so I remained in control of that part of my life while having the unknown come across my plate and leading to beautiful memories. With embracing this lifestyle of controlled uncertainty, I learned something else about myself. If I were to put a word to whether I'm extroverted or introverted or somewhere in between, I would say that I lean more towards the introverted side. But on this trip, right, I'm spending so much time alone, and I just found myself engaging in conversation with random strangers in all these new places that I was in. It led me to meeting with some of these guests during this season, because there are some of them that I met for the very first time when we shot these episodes. And the only thing I could control about the unknown of meeting this person was how I show up, was my setup for the show, was the questions that I wanted to ask them, was the energy that I bring to the conversation. And that allowed me to remain confident during the episode. It allowed me to let my personality come through, to feel comfortable talking to this person I don't know yet? And so this philosophy of intentional uncertainty, it doesn't just apply to traveling, it doesn't just apply to being on the road. There are so many examples in life where it can apply to. And I mean, honestly, since we're shooting this show, relating it back to this show is probably one of the best things I could do right now. And there's a specific instance that comes to mind. So I'm in New Jersey. I was going to shoot this episode, but it fell through. Things didn't work out with the guest. So I'm there for an extra 2 days. And one thing about me is that I love to play pickleball. And so I found a pickleball gym or a pickleball facility, club, whatever you want to call it, to go play at. And I get to this place and I meet the owner, super cool guy, and I play. And him and I he comes out and he's watching me play, and we end up just talking, right? And turns out he's a very interesting individual. Like, he is a serial entrepreneur, has written books, and he built this pickleball facility just as a passion project from funding by his lumber company that he used to have. And everything inside the pickleball club is all like repurposed, refurbished wood. It's like this beautiful, beautiful fountains and what are they called? Pagodas and things like that inside. And so anyways, the open play ends and him and I are just sitting there chatting, and he's just a very interesting guy, and we're just connecting. You know, when you instantly vibe with somebody, you kind of just feel it and you know it, and there's like nothing held back from the conversation. So it's like 8:30, and the only thing on my agenda for the rest of the night is to go back to my hotel because it was too hot to sleep in my tent. So I booked a hotel for that night, and he was like, "Hey, are you hungry?" And I was like, in my head, I'm like, this random stranger asked me to go out to dinner with him in this place I know nothing about. Fuck yeah, let's do it. Let's go grab some food with this guy, because you never know what can happen. So we go to dinner and we talk for like 3 hours, dude. We go to this, it's just like it's kind of like a Chili's. We're grabbing a bite to eat, but the best part of the whole thing was just having this conversation with this guy. And he was just such an interesting individual where if I would have said no, I never would have got to know. I mean, he gave me a copy of his book. The book was about reading reading features on faces and how the things you've been through in life have like shaped the way that your face forms over the years. So it was really, really interesting conversation, and he gave me the book and I read the book, and it's like fascinating stuff. But if I would have been shy, introverted, closed off when I went to this pickleball club, I would have never had the chance to talk to him. He would never have asked me to go to dinner with him, and I would have never made that memory and had that life experience that I did. And so that's something that I learned about myself, is that I really enjoy meeting genuine, authentic people that don't want anything from you except for a conversation or to share their story with you, right? I was even going to have him on the show the next day, but the weather was just so horrible that it didn't work out. And for that experience and many, many other experiences and memories that I made throughout that trip, I am super grateful. And being grateful is another one of those things as part of that intentional uncertainty or controlled uncertainty that keep me grounded in who I am. So you hear all over, I feel like you hear from so many different sources, like, be grateful. When you wake up in the morning, list a couple things you're grateful for. And for me, just listing a couple things didn't really do the trick, right? I never felt that real sense of gratitude until I found my own way of practicing being grateful. And that's what I wanted to do right now. So if you're watching or listening, it doesn't matter. I want you to do this gratitude exercise with me. I don't even know that it's an exercise. This is just what I do every morning, and I do it in the shower. I shower in like a very moody setting. I turn off the light and I keep one small light on, so it's kind of dark. And I start with the big stuff. So right now, just think about what you're grateful for. And I'm gonna list with you what I'm grateful for, but I want you to do this with me. So first of all, I'm grateful for my truck because it drives me around. It's taken me to all these amazing places. I'm grateful for being out here in nature. I mean, if you look behind me, we're sitting in snow-capped, beautiful mountains. It's cold out, but I'm still grateful for it. I'm grateful for the chair that I'm sitting in. I'm grateful for this jacket that I'm wearing that's keeping me warm. I'm grateful for the shoes I have on to keep my feet from getting dirty, from getting muddy. I'm grateful for the gas that goes in my truck that drives me from place to place. I'm grateful to have a career. Man, I'm grateful for the pants I have on. I'm grateful for the guy standing behind the camera, making sure that everything goes smoothly. I'm grateful to be alive. And I like to start big, with the obvious things. The roof over our heads, our vehicles, our families, our partners, our children, our animals. But then I like to just dig as deep as I possibly can to find the little minute details that we forget make our lives good. The fact that we might have running water in our home. The fact that we have heat and electricity to keep our things powered. And when I remember that I have those small things that are often forgotten in the day-to-day, that is when I really feel a true sense of gratitude. And that's when I really feel a true love for being alive and for being in the moment every single day. My hope is that maybe that gave you a slightly different perspective on like a gratitude journal or listing some things you're grateful for. And man, talking about being grateful for my truck, I spent a lot of time driving. I listened to a lot of podcasts. I listened to a lot of books, a lot of music. Sometimes I listened to nothing. And while I was on the road, I discovered this poem. I was driving back from Tampa to Austin. It was the last leg of my trip to go back home. And I played it and I'm listening to it. And dude, I just start crying. And I just start feeling this overwhelming sense of like love and wow, these words are so powerful. And to this day, when I go back and listen to that poem, it reconnects me to the moment. It reconnects me to everybody else around me. It reconnects me to nature. And so I want to read that poem for you just because of how important it is to me and how much it means to me. It is written by a man named Meister Eckhart, who lived from 1260 to 1328. So this was written so long ago, but I firmly believe that it can teach us a lot about being alive, a lot about love. And the poem is called When I Was a Forest. When I was the stream, when I was the forest, when I was still the field, when I was every hoof, foot, fin, and wing, when I was the sky itself. No one ever asked me, did I have a purpose? No one ever wondered, was there anything I might need? For there was nothing I could not love. It was when I left all we once were that the agony began. The fear and the questions came, and I wept. I wept, and tears I had never known before. So I returned to the river. I returned to the mountains. I asked for their hand in marriage again. I begged to wed every object and creature. And when they accepted, God was ever present in my arms. And he did not say, where have you been? For then I knew my soul, every soul, has always held him. And man, as I read through it again, I feel the same emotions that I did when I heard it for the first time. The words are so powerful for me because it reminds me how important it is to be connected to nature, to be connected to the small things that are often overlooked, to remember how powerful that love is when we're connected to all of those things. And so for me, the reason that poem is so powerful is because when we are caught up in the fast-paced, thoughtless things of our day-to-day, it can lead us into unhappiness and sadness. And when we take a moment to once again step into nature and, like the poem says, ask for the hands of the mountain to wet us and ask for the streams to accept us back, we can feel totally connected to our sense of self again, totally connected to God, to the universal power, to the creator, whatever you want to call it. It'll unlock all of the highest potentials that are in there. It'll take away the sadness, take away the unhappiness, It's not an easy thing to do, of course. But that poem, when you read something or find something that really means a lot to you, it doesn't matter what it means to anybody else. I hope that it can have an impact on anyone listening in the same way that it impacted me. But if it doesn't, that's cool too. And so, as I come to the end of this season, I just want to say a quick thank you to every single guest that I had on this season. Each one of you impacted me in some sort of way through our conversation, through our laughs. It showed me that if you're willing to put in a little bit of work to ask somebody about their life, chances are they'll open up and share some really amazing things. I just want to say thank you for watching, for listening, for coming along for the journey as I step into something new, as I step into a new iteration of myself as a content creator, as I jump onto a platform that I can share the truest version of myself with you, that I can bring on guests and encourage them to share their truest expressions of themselves with you, because I believe that everybody deserves to know that about not just their favorite creator, favorite influencer, celebrity, but they deserve to know that about the person standing next to you, the person that you go to sleep with every night. So if I could leave you with any message from this past season, it would be to talk more, communicate more. When you're on the edge of being uncomfortable with the things that you want to say or feel like you need to ask, then you are certainly moving in the right direction of how you're trying to communicate. And so, I bid you farewell and hope that you join me in the next season where we have more adventures, more experiences, more great conversations, more amazing coffee here at the Tailgate Coffee Table. Hey friends, if you're like me, always on the move, whether it's lifting, playing pickleball, hiking, snowboarding, or even just walking the dog, then you know hydration is key. But it's not just about drinking water, it's about balance, and that's where Element comes in. Element is an electrolyte drink mix that keeps me feeling my best no matter what I'm doing, with a science-backed ratio of sodium, potassium, and magnesium without any sugar or junk. I take it everywhere, on the court, on the trails, and especially in the car for long drives. And right now, Element is offering a free sample pack with your first purchase. Just go to drinkelement.com/themacrobarista. Stay fueled, stay hydrated, and I'll catch you on the next adventure.